Conditions were pitch-perfect in Barcelona for the 7th day of the Louis Vuitton Cup, with the wind clocking round to the south-southwest and delivering a breeze that topped out at 17 knots, and an off-axis swell, challenging conditions that saw the big sailing names perform. It was a highly significant day for INEOS Britannia, who showed every ounce of their potential, scoring first a win against Alinghi Red Bull Racing, and then inflicting the first challenger defeat on Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, with a clinical display of pace, power, and racecraft from Sir Ben Ainsley's team. On the water, the racing was scintillating from start to finish as the breeze filled and afforded some of the best racing seen so far in the Louis Vuitton Cup. INEOS Britannia showed all of their potential in the breeze with an initial commanding win over Alinghi Red Bull Racing early in the afternoon, whilst Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli stayed ruthlessly determined and edged a close race with American Magic. The showdown of the day, though, was INEOS Britannia against Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, where the British dominated right from the start and negated the high mode that the Italians can deploy to such devastating effect on initial drag race off the start line. Having navigated this trap and seizing the lead, the British never looked back, although a small nosedive on a jibe exit on the final downwind leg to the finish was a reminder of the fine margins between success and failure in these AC75s. INEOS Britannia survived and slapped a 25-second defeat onto Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli to secure their passage to the semi-finals of the Louis Vuitton Cup. Jimmy Spithill, starboard helm for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, was sanguine about the team's first loss against a challenger but gave praise to the British team, saying, "They had good performance today, we were impressed. I think we're going to see the whole fleet have strong points, everyone's going to have their pros and cons in various conditions, and yes, those guys looked good today." For the Swiss and French, meanwhile, it was a tough day at the office for both teams and they remain locked in battle for the final semi-final spot, but with the Swiss holding a slender 1-point advantage. Orient Express Racing Team came in with high hopes today of securing a win against New York Yacht Club American Magic, and despite it being close right to the finish, it was the Americans who recorded the win, leaving Quentin Delapierre knowing that it's do or die tomorrow in their race against INEOS Britannia. American Magic secured their berth in the Louis Vuitton Cup semi-finals with their win against the French, but Tom Slingsby knows there's plenty of development and technique work to be done before the knockout stage, saying, "Really, it's consistency with us, our maneuver consistency needs work. Some maneuvers are as good as anyone, and then we have some bad ones, and it gets quite tough to sail tactically when you don't know what you're going to do in the maneuver. You want to tack on them, but then there's the thought that the more you throw at them, the closer you are to a bad one. But if we can chip away at some small things, we can make some big improvements." I think we sailed pretty well against Luna Rossa, but then in the next race against the French, we were quite wobbly. Succumbing to the loss against the British and then a second loss to Emirates Team New Zealand today, Alinghi Red Bull Racing looked to be struggling for horsepower in the breeze and waves. Maxime Bachelin, port helm, took a modicum of positives away from both races, but knows that it will be a tricky final race against Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli tomorrow, saying, "It was quite a tough day for us. We were expecting a better performance from us in the waves, so we are a bit disappointed, I would say. Tomorrow is just one match, and we will go for it and try to win this one, as we can see that Luna Rossa is beatable." Andy Maloney, trimmer on Emirates Team New Zealand, commented about their uncustomary ragged start but clinical race execution thereafter against the Swiss, saying, "We didn't get off to the best start, and I think that was probably our biggest mistake in the race. It was tricky conditions to sail the boat and great practice for us out there in that stuff. That's really what we need to work on. Everyone's got great boats and great packages, so we know it's going to be a lot about the pre-start and that first exchange off the line, trying to predict the first shift, who's going to win on the first interaction. That's going to be a lot of the race, so we're really focusing on that. Today we didn't quite nail that, but we will go back and look to see how we could have done better. If the schedule is completed, Sunday's racing will see the final spot in the Louis Vuitton Cup semi-final secured. It's a straight deal. Orient Express Racing Team must beat INEOS Britannia to draw level with Alinghi Red Bull Racing. For the Swiss, they will guarantee their spot if they beat Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, but will face a race-off if the French finish tied on points.
As a newcomer, and now that we see all the boats out there, everyone has a very different boat, so it's going to be super interesting, and I don't think anyone has the answer, definitely not me.
How much pressure is for you guys, you cyclers, to perform these days?
Less than what's on the pedals.
We're here with Dylan Fletcher, 49er Olympic gold medalist, helmsman on board side on INEOS Britannia. Dylan, another day on the water, how did it go?
Yeah, it was a difficult day with the breeze initially, but then it cleared up and we had sort of that nice garby conditions, so all in all a really positive day, I think.
Today back to the new rudder, testing different things, sailing with different heights and different pitch angles. Was the day mostly out of the rudder?
No, the rudder was just sort of in the background. We were getting to, you know, the other test list items, some pre-starts and racing, so yeah, just sort of mixing it up.
The boat seems a little bit more faster with this rudder than with the Legacy one. Does it feel the same way on board?
Yeah, I'd hope that the new one is faster, but yeah, it feels nice. It was a good day for it.
In terms of boat balance and sail streaming, are there big differences when you sail with this rudder compared to the other one?
I guess the other one's a bit shorter, so you know, it can be a bit more challenging in the waves, but other than that, it's very similar.
And today you had a big range of wind speeds, being very light at the beginning and then in building during the day. Is there any specific conditions in which you may prefer the other rudder over this one?
I don't think so. I think we'll always take the new one, you know, it's good.
Okay. Then which differences do you feel whenever you maneuver the boat?
There's a little bit of differences, but ultimately I guess most of it's down to the rest of the, you know, what we're doing with the balance of the boat, and so it's really in a noise, the rudder.
Then moving into the second part of the day, a lot of focus on the pre-starts, and we identified that there were a lot of times in which you were doing maneuvers with both arms down a little bit longer than usual. What is that about?
Yeah, we're just practicing a few more things today, and like, yeah, as you saw, just some more turns and just seeing what the boat can do on the three foils, which is a bit more what, you know, we've seen in the AC40, so we thought we'd try a little bit of that.
Is it possible that this rudder requires the two arms longer on the water?
I don't think so.
Okay. And the last one, we saw that at some point during the day you had to remove the cover from the main screw to do some adjustments.
I think the sail team are just looking at, you know, how it's setting and the different options back there. I'm sure we'll see plenty of iterations before the cut.
Which kind of options are you considering back there?
You'll have to ask one of the sail guys, I don't know. I didn't really know it was off.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're here with Philippe Presti, coach at Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. The full range of wind today, all 5 challenges on the water. How did it go?
It's super exciting to see all the boats in the water. And yeah, we went on the water after 2 days on shore because of the weather, and we were super pumped to go out. It started very light and ended up almost 20 knots at the end, so that was a great day.
So you had so all the challenges are on the water today. Which challenge are you most focused on? Which is the team to beat?
Oh, that's all. We're looking at our performance and how we can improve from our standard. It's practically impossible to measure, you know, performance in the setup we have today, and we're not allowed to line up, so we don't. And then the wind is super shifty, and we don't know what our opposition have as you know, as gear and our development. So, frankly, we're just looking at our development, how we can improve day by day, and that's our main focus.
So, despite, you know, the rules around lineups, you did a bit of crisscrossing today with the Swiss and the Americans. What have you learned from these interactions?
Well, as I said, you don't know what the others have. The wind is shifty 20 degrees, so it happened that they are in the same course as us. We're all in the same course, so sometimes we're crisscrossing, but I don't think you take a lot of information from that.
So you had an issue with the starboard foil arm before you got into roundup and bareway practice. Can you explain what happened?
I have no idea. No, the boys, we were far away, just trying to recover wood, because there was a lot of wood in the water today. So we spent a lot of time dragging the bay to clean up and make sure everything was safe. So when we come in action, it was a little bit late to tell you what happened.
So as you mentioned, you know, the weather prevented you from sailing the past 2 days. What does the training program look like on days like that?
Yeah, we've got plenty of development now on the fire, you know, and it's time where you can regroup, having meeting. We're doing a lot of simulations. We've got a simulator set up, so we work a lot on on simulation, and yeah, that's good days as well, you know.
So when it comes to helmsman selection, you've got Marco and Kekko rotating. What's the difference between them, and who's going to get the seat?
So this I can't tell you. I wish I know, but I mean we're super lucky having talented people in the squad. Last time we were a little bit short in terms of drivers, and we were lucky nobody get hurt, because it could have been a real problem. This time we've got a fantastic driver. We've got 4 of them, Olympic champion, world champions, and America's Cup winner. So we try to take the most of it, and I think it's healthy to try different stuff. Last time we were the only one having 2 drivers. Everyone were watching at us and say, "Oh, what are they doing?" But at least you learn from experience of the other drivers, and I think it's very healthy at the moment, and I think we continue like that a little bit.
Philippe, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Andrew Campbell, you were trimming on the port side of Patriot today. What were the objectives when you left the dock this morning?
Yeah, we are still kind of in the in that phase where we're trying to make sure that the sails are what we expect through the range. We're always trying new settings, and most of our focus was in the aero world today.
It was a decent day for some on the water training. Just talk about the conditions just quickly.
Yeah, no, it's actually a lot better than most of us expected. It was meant to be, well, it may still be stormy, and that was meant to kind of disrupt it, but we ended up with a beautiful sea breeze and, kind of mid-teens at times, and it wasn't as steady as a normal Barcelona day, but we'll take it. It was really flat water too, so, you saw a lot of teams out there making the most of it, and it was nice to be in the mix every once in a while with somebody else, and it gives you a good look for a few seconds, and gives you maybe a little bit of understanding about how you're doing.
When we spoke to Terry a few days ago, he said he was kind of pining for some lighter airs days, some days that are more typical of Barcelona when the Cup's going to be on. Is that how you feel?
Well, what's more typical of Barcelona than just being here and going racing every day? So, that's why we're here. We're here to get as many days as we can on site, in venue, and when the lighter days come, we're going to try and get them, but, we're going to get as many good days when we can as well. And I think when the boat's ready, when the boat rolls out of the shed and the guys have put us in a place where we can go and get good data, we're going to go get it, no matter how the day looks.
Just talk a little bit about communication on the boat in general.
Yeah.
Sailing these boats, everything's happening very fast. The courses are relatively short compared with the Cups of old. Is the communication the same? Do you do it differently?
Well, I certainly don't do it that differently in my experience. I mean, like you say, this is my 3rd Cup. We've been using headsets and microphones for my entire career in this game, so it is different from my dad's America's Cup, but it's no different for us. I think that more than anything, you benefit from anticipating what the other guy on board's doing. The more days that we get together as a group, the better off we all are, because what the other guy needs, how you're affecting the other guys on board, and the reality is that all 8 of us are affecting each other in a big way almost every time we're touching any buttons. So it's a big orchestra that we need to play in there, and the guys on board are doing a really nice job of speaking only when they need something that we don't anticipate, if that makes sense.
Do you work on the way you communicate with each other, the language that you use?
Yeah, for sure. We're constantly working on our communication on board, not just amongst the 4 afterguard, but amongst all 8 of us. Making sure that we're all on the same page is going to help us, perform better on the day. And any time that we can get into a higher pressure situation, we're looking to do that to make sure that we are very clear about what each other's intentions are and how we can be helping each other do a better job.
Fantastic, Andrew. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
We're here in Barcelona with Antoine Rucard, boat coordinator for both AC75 and AC40 for Orient Express Racing Team. Antoine, beautiful breeze from the southwest with a messy sea state. What was your focus out there today?
We had some issue on yesterday, so first thing on today was to have a look if everything was working properly. So we spent a bit of time to set the mainsail especially, and then some maneuver from the guys. So I think we are at this state that they are able to do some maneuver after some straight line. So it was the main focus on today.
In the test from the aero systems done before docking out, we could see quite a lot of focus on the mass rotation. Are you managing to do the full rotation or experimenting any issues there?
Yeah, we had some issue before, but right now it seems to be fixed. So yeah, we made some calibration this morning.
In the briefing the team is doing just before the sailing session, you are sometimes giving a speech to the team. What are the kind of instructions you are giving to them?
It's just for the feedback from the day before, just how we could improve our process on the water, and also what the boat states, what we change, what setting we change, and everything.
You have experienced some issues these first days with some leaks on the aero hydraulic systems. Why are these leaks happening? Overloading maybe?
Nope, the load looks okay. We just need to keep an eye on every connector. Yeah, for sure that the first few days that the system is under pressure, so we need to check the tightening of every connector.
On the first days of sailing, quite a lot of focus has seen on the main sheet system. How complex is that system to anything you have seen before?
Honestly, that's quite an easy one. So no, it's not a main focus for us. No, it's worked pretty well. We are happy with that.
Can you please give us an insight about how different is the commissioning and maintenance plan from the AC75 compared to the AC40?
Yeah, for sure it's quite different, but we've got the biggest team around this boat right now, so from my side it's even easier because all the team right now is focused on this 75, and before it was quite tricky because we have half the team working on the 75 and less people on the 40, so right now every department have a good plan for the maintenance and the checks and everything, so it's working pretty well from now.
After a sailing session and before next one, how many hours of maintenance work are expended in the AC75 and by how many people?
Tricky answer, but yeah, nearly all the team is around, and yeah, we changed the oil many times already just to be sure that there is no oil contamination, and that's the main focus, and we try to have a look on every system every night. Yeah, pushing hard from now.
What do you think are your biggest challenges during the commissioning of the AC75?
Not that easy. No, I think we did it well. We went step by step. Like we start with a tow test, and then we step the rig, we roll in again, and then we roll out and we launch the boat to go first just to hoist the sails and to check everything, and then we went for the first sailing session. We just moved step by step, and we are quite happy with that. So, yeah.
Great. Thanks so much, Antoine.
You're welcome.
Here they go.
Yeah, we had a good day out there today. Race 1, we had a really close race with Luna Rossa.
Start. Race 22, American Magic, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
It's good to be right in there with them and pushing them the whole way. We had a bit of a wobbly jibe and a couple of mistakes there, which allowed them to get out to sort of 150, 200 metres, and they were able to hold on to that to the finish. But we sailed quite well in that. It was a bit of a back and forth battle. The second race we had was against the French. We got a good start, led off the start, and yeah, look, we made a few mistakes. They sailed quite well. They kept the pressure on us the whole way, but a great job to all the team to get that win, because I think proving, and yeah, there's plenty of areas we can do that.
Well executed, clean start by Orient Express.
Voilà, un beau start, on n'arrive pas à exécuter notre schéma, on voulait partir à sa droite. Et dans le pré-start, c'est pas une position idéale où on vient se placer. Je pense que les vitesses étaient très similaires, on est tout le temps resté à peu près à la même distance, et je pense qu'on a un peu pêché aussi sur notre vitesse au pré, les virements n'étaient pas excellents. On doit revenir au contact des Suisses pour pouvoir espérer continuer l'aventure, et ça passe par à minima une victoire chez nous et pas de victoire chez eux. Et vu qu'il reste qu'un seul match pour nous, on n'est que dans ce scénario. On doit obligatoirement gagner, et puis pour espérer jouer après un match final contre les Suisses pour l'accès en demi-finale. Et il reste encore un match. On sait qu'on est dans une situation où la victoire est obligatoire pour pouvoir poursuivre cette aventure. Et voilà, donc tout va se jouer demain.
Incumbent is nice.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
2, 1, more down.
They've gone. Lead change. How good green, more pressure. Only a cross into that pressure and actually taking Pirelli. Both teams. And we are away. Orient Express Racing, Luna Rossa. This is with main sheet, Traveller. The skin's really getting put through it.
Well, in the light spots, yeah, just
a little charge here. They want the win and the 1 point game up speed. Race 7 of the Louis Vuitton Cup, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli and American Magic. Split tank start.
Nice start. Okay, 2, 1, 1.
Split rounding of the gate, and one would say, if you look at the numbers there, advantage Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Massive gain to the Italians there in those last 2 exchanges. Being the heart rate monitors on you blokes, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I think clear on the diamonds. Nice rush.
Tom Slingsby saying nice right shift there, so they are in phase at the moment. But Italian Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli team, really good boat speed there, so really fantastic battle here. The valuable point in the Louis Vuitton Cup.
I think I took.
And we are a go. Race number 11.
Think of for the other teams of how to manage.
Right out now. Maybe keep going, get to
Down on leg number 2.
And in thinking.
And anytime power, as they call it, the human engine. Pieces of engineering excellence.
Nice boys, good day.
for the push.
1, 7 to 5.
think of the jibe. They are just fly. They like to call it, or maybe we like to call it, but we do have Jimmy Smith. And the Louis Vuitton Cup Challenger Selection Series, they go to 4-0.